Hello, farming family. It's a true joy to greet you today. Have you ever wondered why certain hens seem to have an energy that never runs out and lay eggs with a simply perfect shell, while others look down? For a long time, I was looking for that secret that the breeders of old kept under lock and key until I managed to discover something as basic as it is powerful: molasses. Today, I will tell you how this black gold, sweet and thick textured, can radically transform the life of your birds and, above all, fill your nest with fresh eggs every morning. It is a story of change that begins in the kitchen and finds its end in the chicken coop. If you love your birds as much as I do, I invite you to leave a like on this video. That way I'll know these tips are useful to you and we will continue progressing together in this wonderful passion for country life. I clearly recall the first time I saw a jar of molasses in my grandfather's pantry. He used to say it represented the soul of sugar cane. It is nothing more than the dense residue that remains after the sugar extraction process. However, what many consider a waste, wise farmers value as a treasure. It is a syrup loaded with everything the plant absorbed directly from the earth, concentrated into a sweet and very fragrant substance. At first, I made the mistake of thinking it was simply sugar, but I was deeply wrong. Unlike white sugar, which is pure empty energy, molasses manages to preserve the vital minerals that the cane extracts from the soil. It is as if we were giving our hens a concentrate of nature's strength in every drop. When I started researching, I understood that this liquid is not only sweet, but also gives off an aroma that fascinates birds. That sweet and penetrating smell awakens their instincts and stimulates their appetite in a way that no processed food achieves on its own. It is literally a treasure in liquid form for the chicken coop. Understanding the essence of molasses is the first step to stop seeing it as a simple sweetener and start considering it a high-quality supplement. Once you understand that it is a gift from the earth, you realize why the experts cannot do without it. And speaking of well-kept secrets, here's the question of the day. Have you ever tried to give a sweet remedy to your hens, or were you afraid the sweet might harm them? Please tell me about your experience in the comments. There was a particularly harsh winter on my farm, where my hens barely moved from their corner. I noticed they were sad, with their feathers ruffled because of the cold, and egg production dropped to zero. It was at that moment when I remembered that molasses is one of the fastest absorbing energy sources that exist for animals. By providing it to them, it is as if we are turning on an internal engine that helps them fight exhaustion. Hens consume a lot of energy simply to maintain their body temperature when walking around the pen. Molasses gives them that extra boost so they not only manage to survive, but feel the desire to stay active. I remember one hen in particular, Clotilde, who was very weak after an illness. I started adding a little molasses to her water, and in a matter of a few days, she was once again the first to run as soon as she heard the sound of the food bucket. That regained spark in her eyes confirmed to me that the energy of molasses is something real and extremely effective. That vigor is not limited only to movement, but translates directly into health. A hen with energy has a more robust immune system and is better equipped to face any challenge. But the most amazing thing is how that energy is linked to something fundamental: her digestive system. Sometimes we forget that the inside of a hen works like complex plumbing that needs to be kept clean. Molasses has a magnificent property, and that is that it acts as a gentle, natural laxative when used in the proper dosage. This helps keep the digestive tract clear of obstructions and toxins that could make our birds sick. Once, several of my birds started showing digestion problems due to a feed that was too heavy for them. I noticed their droppings weren't normal and they looked a bit down. By introducing molasses, I helped their intestines cleanse naturally without resorting to aggressive chemicals that could stress them even more. What happens is that molasses facilitates the movement of the food bolus and the expulsion of what is not beneficial. It is like performing preventive maintenance on their system so that everything flows as it should. A hen that is clean on the inside is a hen that makes the most of every gram of feed she is given. This internal cleaning is vital because it prepares the ground for the organism to absorb the nutrients that truly matter. If the digestive system works well, the hen can capture all the minerals necessary for her most important job: laying eggs. And that is exactly where the next big benefit comes in. There is nothing more frustrating than going to the nest and finding a soft-shelled egg, or, what is worse, one already broken. That happened to me frequently until I discovered that molasses is extremely rich in calcium, magnesium, and potassium. These minerals are not only present, but they are highly bioavailable, which means the hen absorbs them almost instantly. When the hen ingests these minerals, her organism directs them straight to the shell gland. I have noticed that since I use molasses regularly, the eggs have an amazing strength and a shine they didn't have before. It is the big difference between a fragile egg and a premium quality egg from an expert farm. Even the yolk's color seems to show improvement, given that a correctly mineralized hen produces eggs that are nutritionally more complete. My customers and my own family noticed the change immediately. The eggs felt heavier and more consistent. It is a source of pride to see how such a small adjustment in the diet generates such a solid result. However, molasses does not only work on the physical part of laying, but it also has a surprising effect on the mood of our feathered companions. A calm animal is a productive animal, and molasses helps enormously in this emotional sense. Hens are very sensitive creatures. A sudden change in weather, a loud noise, or the presence of a predator can stress them to the point where they stop laying eggs for several days. Molasses contains vitamins belonging to the B complex, which are famous for helping to balance the nervous system. It works like a relaxing balm that reaches them through their beaks. I remember one occasion when I had to move my coop to a new area of the farm. I was worried because I knew the change would upset them and they would stop laying. I prepared their water with molasses during those days, and to my surprise, they adapted much faster than usual, remaining calm and curious. When a hen is relaxed, her body does not waste resources in a panic mode. Instead, she uses all her nutrients to stay healthy and continue her natural laying cycle. Molasses gives them that sense of well-being that is perceived in their daily behavior. This serenity is complemented by a voracious appetite. A hen that does not suffer from stress wants to eat, and molasses is the best ally to ensure they do not leave a single grain in the feeder, thus linking their daily nutrition. Sometimes we have hens that are especially picky eaters and leave aside crucial parts of their grain mix. The sweet aroma of molasses works like a magnet that is irresistible. When I mix a small stream of molasses with the dry feed, that smell permeates everything, and the hens pounce on the food as if it were a gala banquet. I have seen hens that were losing weight simply because they did not like the dry forage we provided. By lightly moistening the feed with diluted molasses, the change was instantaneous. They started eating with gusto and regained their ideal weight in record time, which is fundamental for laying. The beautiful thing about this is that they not only ingest more, they eat better. Molasses helps the smallest grains and the dust, which often contains many vitamins, stick to the larger grains, ensuring the hen consumes the entire nutritional profile and not just what she likes best. This increase in feed consumption is especially critical when temperatures drop. If the hen eats well, she has firewood for her internal fire. And in this way, we move on to how molasses becomes the natural heating for our birds during the most complicated months. On nights where the thermometer drops and the wind blows hard, I was always worried about whether my hens would be cold. I learned that the natural sugars present in molasses, when metabolized, produce metabolic heat. It is as if we were offering them a cup of hot chocolate that keeps them warm inside throughout the night. Expert farmers in mountain regions have used this trick for decades. By providing them with molasses in the afternoon, you ensure that their body works on processing that energy during the coldest hours. This prevents the hen from suffering from hypothermia or from exhausting her fat reserves simply to avoid dying from the cold. It is gratifying to see how the next morning they come out of the coop with vitality instead of being hunched and shivering. That internal heat allows them to dedicate the rest of their energy to what we are looking for: egg formation. A warm body is a body that operates at full performance, but you have to be careful because anything in excess is harmful. In the same way it helps us warm up and clean out, we must know that molasses fulfills a very specific function in hydration, something I learned after a very hot summer. During a summer of scorching heat, my hens spent the day panting and barely touched the water. I understood that they required something more than just water. They needed electrolytes. Molasses, being abundant in potassium and other minerals, acts as a natural sports drink that helps maintain proper hydration. By adding a bit of molasses to the drinking water, the hens feel more motivated to drink because of the sweet taste. This is key because an egg is composed largely of water. If the hen does not ingest enough, there simply will be no egg that day, no matter how much food they are given. I noticed that my birds recovered much faster from the stifling heat when they had their dose of molasses. They looked fresher and their combs regained that intense red tone that indicates correct hydration and circulatory health. It is a delicate balance, but wonderful to behold. Maintaining this level of hydration and minerals not only benefits the eggs, but it shows in our birds' plumage. Their feathers reflect their health, and molasses plays a starring role during the molt. Every year, the hens go through a molt, that process where they lose their old feathers so that new ones can grow. It is a stage of great physical strain where laying stops almost completely. Molasses is the ideal fuel for this process to be faster and less painful for them. The nutrients in molasses promote the formation of keratin, the protein that makes up feathers. I have observed how hens that look plucked and sad regain their shine and full coverage much sooner than those that do not consume this supplement. A strong feather is a barrier against diseases and parasites. When the plumage shines and feels silky to the touch, you are certain that the hen is brimming with health. That shine is the indicator that the minerals in molasses are doing their job in every corner of the bird's body, and a hen with renewed feathers is ready to start laying eggs again immediately. This recovery is not the result of chance. It is the result of an organism that has everything it needs. But for this to work, you have to know how to apply it. It is not about pouring molasses without control, and here I share my personal method. Many beginners make the mistake of providing too much molasses, which can cause diarrhea. My golden rule is moderation until the feed is just barely moist and has a pleasant aroma. I like to do it 2 or 3 times a week, not daily, so that their system doesn't get used to it and continues to react to the benefits. It is like a special treat that they look forward to. When they see me bringing the dark jar, they already know something good is coming and huddle at the door. Another great way is to make energy balls by mixing bran, some cracked corn, and molasses. It is an ideal supplement for rainy afternoons or when you feel a hen needs an extra boost. Seeing them delight in that morsel is one of the greatest satisfactions of owning a farm. By mastering the dosage, you stop being an ordinary breeder and become a true expert who understands the needs of your birds. And the final result is what we all want, a constant and healthy production that fills us with pride. After a few weeks of using molasses consistently, but in a balanced way, the results manifest themselves. I began to notice that even my older hens, those that only laid an egg every once in a while, started to be more regular. It is not magic, it is simply high-quality nutrition at the service of the animal. The number of eggs in the basket began to increase, and above all, the quality became uniform. No more small eggs or eggs with deformed shells. The black gold had done its job by optimizing the internal functioning of every bird in my coop. It is an incredible feeling to open the coop in the morning and find those perfect gifts, knowing that your birds are healthy and happy. Molasses became my #1 ally, allowing me to reach a production I am deeply proud of and that I share with my neighbors. Becoming an expert is not about using expensive products, but about knowing how to use what nature provides us. Molasses is inexpensive, easy to get, and extremely effective. At the end of the day, what we are looking for is that connection with nature that makes country life so special. To close this circle of learning, I want to tell you to observe your hens. They will tell you if the molasses is suiting them well. You will see their combs brighter, their movements more agile, and you will hear them singing louder. That is the true language of the farm that we learn over time. Don't be afraid to experiment with small doses and see how your flock reacts. Every coop is its own world, but molasses is a universal language that all hens understand. It is the best kept secret because it is simple, honest, and very powerful. Today I share this with you because I want your farm to thrive as much as mine. May every morning be a joy to collect the fruits of your effort, and may your hens live a full and healthy life. Because a farmer who pays attention to the details is a farmer who reaps great satisfactions. So if you are ready to see your nest full and your birds happier than ever, go get some molasses. I assure you that once you see the results, it will never be missing from your pantry again. It is the sweet touch that all life in the country deserves to have. I hope this journey through the world of molasses has opened your eyes as much as it did mine at the time. Raising chickens is an art that is perfected with love and small details like this. Remember that the most important thing is the consistency and care we dedicate to each of our birds. They always repay that care many times over. If this story about the power of black gold has transformed your vision of nutrition in the chicken coop, I invite you to subscribe and like our channel. We are unearthing the secrets of the earth that others have tried to hide. Cultivate the future with us. The farm's next treasure will be revealed very soon.